The emergency alarms blared through the corridors of the Galactic Educational Institute, their piercing wails echoing off metallic walls as students from 17 different species scrambled for safety. Professor Sarah Chen remained perfectly still at her desk, her human composure unnaturally calm as chaos erupted around her. The creature that had burst through the reinforced classroom wall stood nearly 3 meters tall, its obsidian exoskeleton gleaming under the flickering emergency lights. 6 razor-sharp appendages twitched with predatory anticipation, and its compound eyes, each the size of a dinner plate, surveyed the room with cold intelligence. This was a Vex-High apex hunter, one of the most feared predators in the known galaxy. "Everyone stay calm," Sarah said in her steady voice, though her Zilthian students were already cowering behind their desks, their crystalline skin flashing desperate warning colors. The Corvin twins had instinctively curled into defensive balls, while the lone Etherian in the back corner had begun to phase partially out of visible spectrum, a last resort survival mechanism. The apex hunter's mandibles clicked menacingly as it focused on the largest group of students. Its species had evolved to hunt pack animals, and it could sense fear like a bloodhound tracking a scent. The creature's neural implants crackled, a sign it was preparing to strike. But Sarah Chen did something that defied every survival instinct known to galactic civilization. She stood up slowly and began walking toward the predator. "Professor Chen, no!" squeaked Zixtal, her favorite Zilthian student whose skin had turned a vibrant shade of terror purple. "The hunter's kill instinct is triggered by movement." Sarah smiled, that peculiar human expression that had baffled her alien colleagues for months. "I know, Zixtal, but sometimes the best way to deal with a predator is to show them you're not prey." The apex hunter's head swiveled toward her, compound eyes reflecting her image hundreds of times. Its neural implants sparked more intensely, confusion. In its genetic memory spanning millions of years, no prey species had ever approached voluntarily. This violated every hunting protocol encoded in its DNA. Sarah reached into her desk drawer, moving deliberately slow to avoid triggering an attack response. Her fingers found what she was looking for, a small package wrapped in biodegradable material. "You know," she said conversationally, still approaching the towering predator, "I've been studying your species for 3 years. Fascinating evolutionary history. Did you know that despite being apex predators, Vex-High actually have incredibly sophisticated social bonds?" The hunter's mandibles stopped clicking. Its primary neural cluster, equivalent to a brainstem, was processing contradictory information. Prey didn't speak to predators. Prey didn't offer information. Prey certainly didn't continue approaching while doing so. Sarah was now close enough to touch the creature's lowest appendage. Her students watched in horrified fascination as she unwrapped the package, revealing what appeared to be a dark crystalline substance. "Refined Maltaean nectar crystals," she explained, holding up the treat. "I've been carrying these ever since I learned we'd have Vex-High students joining our interspecies program next semester. Your species considers these a delicacy, doesn't it?" The apex hunter's entire demeanor shifted. Its neural implants stopped sparking with aggression and began pulsing with a different pattern, curiosity. The massive head lowered slightly, compound eyes focusing on the crystals with unmistakable interest. Sarah extended her hand, palm up, offering the treat. "I'm guessing you're not here to hurt anyone. You probably got separated from your transport group, ended up in unfamiliar territory, and your fear response kicked in. That's why you broke through our wall. You were looking for an exit, not a hunt." The creature's secondary appendages twitched, what her xenobiology techs identified as a sign of internal conflict in Vex-High psychology. "It's okay," Sarah continued, her voice taking on the same tone she might use with a frightened animal back on Earth. "I know you're probably scared. Being alone in an unfamiliar environment triggers aggressive responses in your species, but look around. We're not a threat to you." Slowly, carefully, one of the hunter's appendages reached out and delicately plucked the nectar crystals from Sarah's palm. The creature's mandibles worked methodically as it consumed the treat, and gradually its posture began to relax. The classroom fell silent except for the diminishing wail of alarms. Sarah's students emerged from their hiding spots, staring in amazement as their human professor continued to calmly interact with one of the galaxy's most feared predators. "Better?" Sarah asked, producing another crystal from her package. The hunter's compound eyes tracked the movement, but there was no aggression now. only the kind of focused attention a domesticated animal might show when expecting food. From the corridor came the sound of heavy footsteps, the Institute security team no doubt armed with enough firepower to level the building. Sarah glanced toward the door, then back at the hunter. "Your choice," she said quietly. "You can let them help you get back to your group, or you can fight your way out and probably get hurt in the process. But I think you're smarter than that." The apex hunter considered this, its neural implants now pulsing in what Sarah recognized as the pattern for deep contemplation. After a long moment, it lowered itself to the ground, assuming a non-threatening posture that made it clear it would not resist assistance. When the security team burst through the classroom door, weapons raised and ready for combat, they found Professor Sarah Chen sitting cross-legged on the floor next to a docile apex hunter, feeding it nectar crystals while explaining to her mesmerized students the neurological basis for predator-prey relationships in interspecies psychology. Later, as the hunter was safely escorted back to its transport group, Zixtal approached her professor with skin still faintly glowing purple with residual shock. "Professor Chen," the young Zilthian said, "how did you know that would work?" Sarah smiled, that enigmatic human smile again. "Sometimes, Zixtal, the most dangerous creatures are just scared and hungry. The trick is figuring out which one they are before you decide how to respond." As word of the incident spread throughout the Institute, it became another entry in the growing collection of stories about human unpredictability, how they could turn potentially lethal situations into teaching moments with nothing more than empathy, observation, and a pocket full of alien candy. The Vexhi, for their part, added humans to their mental catalog under a completely new category. Not prey, not predator, something else entirely. It was, perhaps, the highest compliment their species could offer.